We have just a little piece here on Mem Vav Amid Aleph to finish before we start the fifth parak. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Ein Lo Shmira Ela Sakin. According to Rabbi Eliezer, there's no shmira, no matter how excellent you could provide for a shara muad. Omar Rabba, my time at Rabbi Eliezer, the Omar Kra, with regard to a shara muad, the Torah says v'lo yishmerenu. And Rabbi Eliezer understands that v'lo yishmerenu means shuv ein lo shmira lezeh. In other words, as much shmira as you provided, it's never sufficient, but rather you have to slaughter the animal. And Yechayev, even if you provide a shmira me'ula, the high quality shmira. Amalei, Abaye asks the following question: Ata, if you're going to be consistent with the way you darshan the pasuk v'lo yishmerenu, then let's look at the Parsha Bar, D'chsiv v'lo yichasenu. Does that mean that there's nothing that you could do to close up the bar and protect it? Nami shuv ein lo kisui lezeh, which would mean that the only way you could exempt yourself from nizke bar would be if you fill in the bar. But to cover it would not be enough because v'lo yichasenu, it cannot be covered. B'chitei machinami v'tnan, we have a Mishnah that kiso karoi, if he covers the bar properly with a very solid covering, v'nafal esocha shar chamaru meis potter, that kisui, that covering the bar, is meaningful and supplies the shmir that's necessary. Elamar Abaye hainu taimid Rabbi Eliezer, the Gemara rejects now the original explanation of Rabbah and substitutes that of Abaye. Why does Rabbi Eliezer hold that a shar muad ein lo shmir elo sakin, you have to shecht it? Kedesanya, we learned in the Brisa, Rabbi Nosson Omer b'nayin shelo yigadel adam kelev ra b'toch beiso ve'al yamid sulam ra'ua b'toch beiso. A person leaves a very shaky ladder in his house. Somebody might climb up and fall and kill himself on the way down. Or he's got a rabid dog in his house. Shenemar, the pasuk says, "V'lo sasim dome beisecha." Rabbi Nosson says that you should not have in your possession something that might lead to the death of someone. And now Rabbi Eliezer applies that logic to a sharamur. Sharamur is a very dangerous animal. It's an ox that's proved itself 3 times to be belligerent. And when the Torah says "Lo yishmerenu," means with regard to sharamur, lo yikaimenu, you're not allowed to keep it, and you have to shecht. Now we end the 4th parak, Hadron Alecha Shosh Nogach Arba v'Chamisha, and we begin the 5th parak. The 5th parak is made up of many, many different parts and subjects, but our Mishnah is going to focus on one particular subject, and that is, what do we do if there's a suffix with regard to the shor, and there's a controversy, a litigation, and 2 arguments, 2 claims and counterclaims by the Balashar, the Mazik, on the one hand, and the Nizak on the other hand. And here we're going to learn about a machlokas between Sumchus and the Rabbanon. Sumchus holds that if you have Mamon Hamutal B'Safik, we don't know who should get the money, whether it's Reuven or Shimon, then we split it down the middle. Chachamim say no. Hamotzi Mechavel of Harayim. So let's see the Mishnah. Shor Shenogach Es Hapara. And we're talking now about a shor tam, and it attacked a pregnant cow. So the ox attacks the cow. The Edim saw the attack from a distance. And after the attack, Nimtza Ubra Bitsida, they find that the Ubar of the para is dead. V'en Yadua, but we have no way of knowing whether Imachlo Negacha Yolda, Im Misha Negacha Yolda. Did the para miscarry, and the Vlad was killed and died without any relationship to the Negicha, to the attack, or it died, the Uber died after the Negicha as a result of the impact of the Negicha. And the Mishnah now paskins based on Sumchus that Mishalim Chatzi Nezek Lepara Urevia Nezek Levlad. That on the para that died as a result of the impact of Keren, of the Shar, you pay Chatzi Nezek. Like any case of a Shar Tam that pays Chatzi Nezek. But wait a second. It could very well be that the Negicha, the attack, destroyed not only the life of the para, but also the life of the Vlad. And therefore, if we take Chatzi Nezek of the Vlad and we divide it in half, because we're not sure, so it's a suffix, therefore we come up with a quarter of a Nezek for the Vlad. B'chein, now we have the reverse case. Surprisingly, it was a cow that attacked and victimized an ox. And after the impact of the Negicha, Nimtza Vlada B'tzida. So we're not sure whether or not the Paro was pregnant at the time of the attack. Now here we have to introduce another point that we've spoken about on many occasions, that a Shar Tam is Ein Govim Tashlum HaNezikin El Migufo. That the Nizak only has recourse to collect from the value of the Shar Mazik. Well, what is the value of the Shar Mazik? Can we assume that the Paro was pregnant at the time of the Negicha, and therefore the value of the Paro reflects not only the Paro itself, but also its Vlad. So the Vlad inside the womb of the mother that attacked the Shar, the Paro that attacked the Shar, that Vlad will jack up the value of the Shar Tam. So Ein Yaduim Ad Shelo Nogcha Yolda. At what point in time did the Para Hamazika give birth? Was it before the Negicha, and therefore we jack up the value of the Para, the Mazik, because we include also the Vlad in the Mazik, or Mishanotcha Yolda? I'm sorry, just the other way around. Im ad shelo nogcha yolda, if the later took place before the negicha, then the Baal Shar has a maximum claim to the value of the para. But im mished nogcha yolda, if as a matter of fact the para was still pregnant at the time of the attack, then the Baal Nizak, meaning the owner of the Shar, has recourse to collect not only Chatzi Nezek from the value of the para, but jack up the value of the para to include the Vlad as well. And once again, we're going to apply the principle of Cholkim, Mishtalim Chatzi Nezek min ha-para, Revia Nezek min ha-Vlad. Half from the para and a quarter from the Vlad. Om Rabbi Yehuda Mishmul Zo Divrei Sumchus. The entire Mishnah reflects the sheet of Sumchus. The Omar, he rules that Movan Amutal B'Safek Cholkim. Anytime you have a doubt, then even though one person is muhsak, we're going to take half the amount from the hands of the muhsak in order to find the equal division of the mamon. Amal Chachamim Omrim, they disagree. Zekal Gadol B'Din, we'll see why they added that fancy dramatic language, but Hamotzi Mechaver Varaya. So now the Nizak wants to be Motzi Mamon from the possession of the Mazik. The Raya, the proof, the burden of proof to bring Edim to establish based on testimony that indeed the Mazik has to pay the Nizak. That responsibility is on the shoulders of the Nizak. On the shoulders. Yeah, on the shoulders of the Nizak. He's the Motzi. and the Baal Ashar Mazik is the Muchzak. And without a raya, you cannot remove money from the hands of the Muchzak. And that's called a Motzi Mechavel Raya. Lomali Umemer Kal Gol B'Din Itzrich. Da'afilu Nizak Omer Bari Umazik Omer Shema HaMotzi Mechavel Raya. Imagine, the Nizak is claiming, I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the para gave birth after the Negicha. And the Mazik has to pay, therefore, not only for the para that he killed, but also for the Vlad. The Mazik, from his perspective, Omer Shem, he doesn't know. He wasn't there at the time. He doesn't know what came first, the Leda or the Negicha. And therefore, even in this case where the Nizak is buried, and he has a definite, certain claim against the Mazik, who's a Shem, who's in doubt, nevertheless, Hamotzim Chal Haraya. Haraya with a Hey Yediyah means Eden. Inami, the Gemara now offers an alternative explanation for Zekal Gadol. L'chi ha d'yitmar. The Zekal Gadol is coming to teach us the following ruling. And there's a machlokas about the following. Hamocher shor l'chaver v'nimtza nagchan. Imagine if you purchase an ox, you pay a hefty sum, you want to use that ox as a threshing animal because you're a farmer. And it turns out that the shor is a nagchan. Now, you don't want to do harisha with a nagchan, but rather what you're going to do is you're going to shech the animal and sell its meat. Now, most people, when they buy a shor, they buy it for harisha. The only problem is the buyer, the lokech, did not stipulate explicitly that he was buying it for the purpose of working with it and threshing his field. Rav Omar Reza Mekachtos. Rav says that the law is on the side of the lokech, and he could break up this sale, claiming it was done on the false premises, because most people, when they buy a shor, they buy it for harisha. Not everyone is a butcher. Ushmuel Omar Yachol Sheyomar Lo L'Shchita Machati L'cha. We're going to side with the mocher. We're not going to cancel the mecher. The mecher is validated because the mocher has a right to say, you know what? I sold it to you for shchita. I never misled you. I never told you that this was a shor nagchan that can only be used for shchita. Or that I never misled you and told you the shor is a docile, passive shor that could be used for a working charisha. And therefore, despite the fact, says Shmuel, that rove people would buy an animal for the purpose of charisha, nevertheless, the mocher has a right to say, you know what, I sold it to you for shchita. And this is what the Chacham meant when they added the word zekal gadol, that even if there's a rove against the muchzak, so the muchzak here is the mocher, and there's a rove against it because most people buy it for the purpose of working with it. Nevertheless, I'm Motzi Mechaber Levarai. Frek the Gemara Amai. Why does the lokech have the lower hand here, the yodo ala tachtona? After all, there are two reasons that we could prove that the lokech is correct in his claim. First of all, nechse I gaved zovin l'radja, I gaved zovin l'nichsita. What kind of a person is the buyer? If the buyer is a person who works the ground, he's a farmer, then for sure we can assume he bought it as radya for charisha. But if on the other hand he's a butcher, he has no shaykhus whatsoever to threshing his field, then we know that he bought it for the purpose of shchita. We're talking about a person who is both a farmer and a butcher. He buys oxen for charish and he buys oxen for shchita. So therefore we can't prove anything from his profession because he's a multitasking profession. But there's another way of knowing whether he bought it for charisha or for shchita. An animal that's capable of working is worth more on the market than an animal that's only worth his basar. idme radya, l'radya, idme nichsata, l'nichsata. If he paid the higher price, that's a proof positive that he bought it for the purpose of charisha. If he paid a lower price, he bought it for the meat. Lo tzricha the oker bisra v'koi b'tmei radya. In the marketplace, there's no difference between the value of a shor for meat, meaning after shchita, or the value of a shor for charisha. It's all worth the same. There's an inflation in the value of meat. And we're up now to Amri, and we turn to Daf Mem Vav Amud Beis.